So the scenario is from an anonymous Penji. She said, Penji, I'm from a Hindu family. I got baptized a few months ago. The first few days were amazing. I was doing my Nitnem. Sab sona saga. To hun ek do mahine to mera Nitnem nahi ho raha. And this constant feeling of moving away from Guru Sahib. Nitnem kida par pak kara. Please help, Guruji. Okay, so firstly, congratulations. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਮਿਲੀ ਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਥੋੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਵਿਰਲਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ very few people get blessed with amrit, and those that do get blessed with amrit, a lot of them don't even do kamai of the diamond that they've been given. So a huge blessing, huge congratulations to you, Penji. And it's good that you've noticed as well. A lot of people amar shakalan there, and then when their sikhi starts drowning and they're moving away from their red, the Nitnem, the Naam Simran, the Khalsa Roop, they don't even realize because they're so far gone. So really good that you've actually paused and reflected and been like, actually something's going on and I'm not doing my Nitnem, and that's huge that you've noticed that, right? So don't be so harsh on yourself. The one thing I'd say is I'm going to keep repeating this. Your Nitnem is not a negotiable. It's non-negotiable, completely non-negotiable. It's not like, shall I go out today? Shall I not go out today? It's like, you know how you eat roti and you drink water? That's the same with your Nitnem. To nourish your body, you drink water and you wouldn't survive with that water. The same way you nourish your soul with your Nitnem and your Simran. And if you don't do that, your soul cries and you can't see that, and then you struggle more and more and more because you're not being fed, you're not being nourished, and then you start having an unbalance in your life, So it's very important to just consider that ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੋਟੀ ਛਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਨਿਤਨੇਮ ਹੈਗਾ. It's the exact same thing. It's completely non-negotiable. You do it every day. The way you take a shower, the way you brush your teeth, the way you go to the restroom, it's the same. You gotta do it. It's not an option. So then how do you do it if you're struggling? Then you need to maybe take a step back and listen to it instead. So if you're really struggling to do it physically, then there's so many YouTube clips. There's such an advancement of technology that we can really use to our advantage. So this is sonolo, and say it with it if you can. Nal bolo vi, and that would be really good because bani todi kanna ja rahe ho te sunde bhi ho, tusi bolde bhi hege ho. You know how I said japji sahib se suni is the first part, fir mande a pehle si sunde a fir mande a. So you're listening, which is fantastic. Just start listening to it and making sure that it happens. And even if you wake up late, say amrit vela nahi uthe before the sunrise, you don't wake up, you still convince yourself that tusi karna hi hega. Even if you realize at 8 p.m. at night, actually I haven't done my Nitnem, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter. And a good thing that could actually be you can do as well is tusi shakana nahi hai. If you haven't done your Nitnem, don't eat, because then you're definitely going to remember that tusi karna Nitnem because you're hungry. You're like, yo, I'm so hungry, and you're definitely gonna do it. You're gonna be like, I'm so hungry. I need to do my Nitnem. I'm really hungry. I want to have breakfast. And what is a Nitnem then? In the morning you wake up. Guru Sahib tells us you wake up. A Sikh wakes up before sunrise or naam japdeya, like ishnan karde naam japdeya. Then they do the Nitnem and they do their bani and they do the kirtan. So with Japji Sahib, Jap Sahib, Saviya, Chope, Anand Sahib, the Panj Baniya in the morning, they wake you up, give you lovely energy for the day, and you do a Simran beforehand. And then you've got Rara Sahib in the evening when you're so tired. It gives you that, rejuvenates you again, and Sola Sahib, that protection at night from everything that could happen. So that's your Nitnem, or Roj karna, nit karna, every day, So the one thing I'd say is just you need to completely change your mindset that this is an option. It's not an option. And one thing I'd say as well, you know how you were saying that it was going really, really well at the start? There can be multiple reasons for that. So there's like a huge boost from that, like there's a high, and that high can last for months, weeks, depending on what's happening in your environment. If you've gone into a bad environment after, where you've not really changed your environment to make it more aligned to your new life, then you might lose that a lot quicker, that high, or that high might be able to last a lot longer if you're doing a lot more. But also you get the kamai of the Gursikhs, that were the Panj Pyare. That kind of keeps you going as well. So that could be one of the reasons that Nitnem was going so solidly, so well. And the biggest thing that I should have said first is actually ardas. Do ardas to Guru Sahib. Maraj mein Nitnem tusi jarur manu amrit wala jagana, tusi Nitnem aap karana, but you can't just rely on that ardas because you need to do it with them. You can't just be like sleeping and be like, oh yeah, tusi mara tusi kara lo Nitnem ho jana mera. No, like you need to be doing that with them. Effort. You can't be like, oh yeah, it's not like you go into an exam and you don't revise at all and you just sit there and you're like, I did my ardas. No, you need to do the revision. You need to do all that revision beforehand, and then when it comes to your exam, you can do ardas as well, and that revision is going to pay off too. And one thing I'd also say is, if sometimes people don't realize that if something is in your Nitnem and you're doing extra banis or extra simran or you've got a really solid red, that's a huge gift from Guru Sahib. And sometimes we do something in our man bachkram, in our mind, in our boli, in our physical actions, and we end up having that gift taken away. So a really important thing to do is reflecting each day on what you're doing. So there's a really nice way that Sant Harnam Singh used to do this. It's in a book called Sekinaya. It's a really beautiful book. And he says he used to think at night and be like, Jo bhi sukhi, jo bhi main good, any good karam that I did is thanks to you, Guru Sahib. Tuhadi kirpa nal hoya. And anything bad that I did, Maharaj maine maaf karna, meri galti sigi. And then take that step further. So think about all the good things that happened in the day. Thank Guru Sahib for it. Be like, Maharaj tera shukr hai. And then anything bad that happened, think about it. And think, Maharaj, this human maaf kar do, because sometimes we might have thought something about someone, we might have said something to someone, we might have hurt someone's heart, and then that happens. But if you get back on the Nitnem trail now, get back on the train, start doing Nitnem, but really reflect what happens in your day, all the good, all the bad, and do the ardas to Maharaj. Maaf kar do agar koi galti hui. Sare ko galti hundi hai. We're making mistakes all the time, and you make mistakes not even knowing. Like, we're not watching our thoughts all the time constantly, like the majority of the world isn't. So it's okay, but it's also just recognizing that galtiyan hundiyan ne and tusi maafi manglo. So when you're going back on this journey of doing your Nitnem again, just be really conscious about what's going on around you, and just be careful. Treat everybody with a lot of love, a lot of prem, and galtiyan hundiyan ne, that's okay. Just think about it before you go to sleep. And I hope that was helpful, Pulchuk Maaf, and I really hope Maharaj blesses us all with a beautiful Nitnem, a beautiful Amrit Vela, beautiful Simran to do in the day, and keeps growing our relationship with Waheguru. And remember, these are your conversations with Waheguru Ji. So it's your priority, you're prioritizing Guru Sahib. You're saying, you're my priority. A lot of people say, I don't have time for this. It's not that they don't have time, or priority nahi hegi. It's not on the top of the list. That's what it is. And when you say it like that, it sounds really harsh, but it's good to say it like that, because then it kind of kicks it into you that I want to prioritize my relationship with Waheguru. Main Waheguru nu milan aiya, right? I've come to meet Waheguru. And then in the mornings, you wake up and you talk to Guru Sahib. Aise galla karte ho ek duje naal. And Guru Sahib's waiting for you as well. He wants to talk to you too. So make that time up, that 40 minutes in the morning, that Ras, that 10 minutes, that 3-4 minutes Sohila Sahib, your Simran, that 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hour, however much you do, or Sari Galla Hundiya, that's all your relationship. And it'll make you feel so much better. You have 24 hours in a day. If you wake up for that 40 minutes to your Nitnem, that 30-40 minutes to your Simran, how much better will you feel throughout the day? It's like when you go to the gym, and you're struggling, you're sweating so much, but afterwards you feel so good. You're like, oh my God, I did so well. Same thing with your soul. That's your Nitnem. You're going to feel so good afterwards. You're like, yeah, that's it. I spoke to Guru Sahib. Completely make it non-negotiable. Like, you got to do it. Just got what you do. Stop eating if you're not doing your Nitnem. Sounds harsh, but you're going to do your Nitnem because you want to eat, so you're going to end up doing it. But Pulchuk Maaf, I hope you have a wonderful day. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji.